You are now listening to the Purpose Addicts podcast.
You got to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to have the ability to self-assess, and not everybody has the ability to self-assess.
You don't necessarily have to like school to be successful in school. You just have to know how to play the game and finesse it and get through it.
Welcome to the Purpose Addicts podcast. This is a short yet powerful conversation designed to help you do 3 things that can ultimately change the trajectory of your life. 1, discover your purpose. 2, walk in your purpose. And 3, ultimately fulfill your purpose. I am your host, Coach Vic, and I'm joined as always by my lifelong friend, my brother, the educator, Dr. Shane Colquhoun. Purpose Addicts, what's up? Another week. Shane, homie, what's up, man?
Cooling. What's going on with you?
Man, it's a good day. It's a good day, good evening, man. It feels like, I don't know about you, but it feels like we haven't talked in a minute.
Man, it feels like forever, bro. Like
Did we skip a couple weeks?
We skipped more than a couple. It feel like a month almost. I mean, last weekend was Christian's birthday party. The week before that, I was in Atlanta for a graduation party. It's been at least 2 weeks, but it feels longer.
Yeah. How was the birthday party?
It was dope. We did it at the trampoline park.
Yeah.
So we had some good crowd came up. My mom was down, her mom was down, all my cousins came down, and we came back to the crib. It was good, man. He enjoyed it, which is the most important thing.
I saw the shirts that y'all did. That was dope.
I was up
like
the night before getting those together. It was dope.
That's what's up, man. Nephew getting older.
I know, man.
Very quickly.
Very quickly.
Where did the time go?
What's that?
I say, like, where did the time go?
Yeah, bro. This time is moving. It's like moving.
You know what's funny? I still, as your picture in my phone when you pop up, is a picture when he was an arm baby. It was you, Cheryl, and him. You holding him in the arm, right? And then I think about, man, he's not that size anymore. Like,
I got to start kindergarten in August, man. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy,
man.
Kindergarten.
All right. So he goes into school. You know, nephew, Nelson's oldest, just graduated high school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like
you remember when he was born?
We was in the club when he was born.
Man, you weren't supposed to tell that part of the story.
Oops, sorry.
Stuff I'm talking
Vic
about.
wasn't always saved.
You're right, not all of my life.
Yeah.
That's all right. There's more to the story. We won't share that. We'll say that for another day. Look, let's bring in our guest. We are super excited to kick off this month with a very dope guest, as all our guests are. But in the month of June, when Father's Day is most important, we are talking to somebody whose sole purpose in life is centered around fatherhood. Now, let me tell you a little bit about him. So, Tillman Givens is the father of 2 beautiful children. And if you follow him on social media, you'll see him all the time posting about his kids, interacting with his kids, and what he's teaching his kids at a very young age is so dope. He himself is an entrepreneur, an empowerment coach, a motivational speaker, and he spent most of his professional career in sales and marketing. He now serves as a business strategist for multiple companies, mostly within the e-commerce industry. And now he is the owner and founder of his newest business, Phenomenal Fatherhood. Let's welcome Tillman Givens III, TG3 if you know him. What's up, man? How you doing, Tillman?
Man, thank you for having me, man. I'm about ready to go do some push-ups after reading that bio, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to record that. I'm about to record it, put it as my alarm clock in the morning.
That's dope.
That's how you wake up every morning.
Yes, sir.
Man, good to see you, man. Good to see your face, hear your voice, man. How's life been?
It's been great, man. It's been phenomenal. Like, every day has just been just a walk, every single day. I want to say back in like December of like 2020, I was going through a lot back then. And it kind of leads like right into what we're talking about. But at one point, like at the beginning of 2020, I was like being a single dad, taking care of my kids, paying child support at the same time. as well as trying to fight for custody at the same time, plus running a business and doing all those things at once. And then eventually I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to roll my cares over to the Lord. And ever since then, I've just been putting one foot in front of the other. And it's been a way better way to go about life.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
sometimes I would say that the biggest thing I struggle with nowadays is like resting when I actually need to rest, because sometimes you feel like you have so much stuff you have to do. And, but it's also good to rest, because at some point you get diminishing returns. So, but all in all, it's good.
That's for sure, man. That's what's up. Well, welcome to the show, man. We're going to jump right in our first segment like we always do, which is What Blew Your Mind. Shane, tell us, it's been a while. What blew your mind?
So I think I said this again, but it's just a different phrase. People, man. This week and last week, I've had people literally make some stuff up just to make me look bad. Like, I mean, just literally, I mean, they might as well have said I was 6'5", bro. That's how, I mean, it was just ridiculous. So I say that to say, like, you can't control what a person says. You can't control what a person does. You can't control what a person thinks, but you can control how you respond.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's just the people are going to people, bro. And the older I get, the more I realize that happiness is a choice. Like when you said prioritizing rest, diminishing returns, like we could run around all day, but at some point in time, we're going to break down if we don't decide what's important and we don't prioritize rest and a peace of mind. Yeah. So, man, you can't control anything else around you but how you react to it, man. That's it.
You know what's funny? My daughter and I, we were just talking. So Saturday, once a month, she asked me to coach her. So we sit down one-on-one and I'm coaching her towards her goals. And we started talking about self-awareness, other awareness, and situational awareness, and how that all impacts our ability to progress and move forward. And I told her within all of that is conflict. In all of that is conflict. And you have to figure out what your response is to all of the conflict that's going to pop up in those different situations to impact your outcome. And what she said was, early on in life, now my daughter's 20, about to be 21. She said early on in life, she felt like there was nothing she could do to change her outcomes, right? Kind of like that victim mentality. And what she'll tell you is it's a fixed mentality. Mm-hmm. She said now what she realizes, I got more control over my outcomes. And it's all based on, like what you said, your response to all of that stuff happening. And it's so crazy how people come into that. Tillman, you got young babies. How do you help them to not be victims and to understand that they have choices at even such a young age?
I think that it really starts with like little things, man. Like even something as simple as like putting your shoes back where they go as soon as you get home, or putting them back decently in order. And, as parents, a lot of times we say stuff like over and over and over and over and over, and it feels like it's not hitting home until like one day you're doing something completely unrelated. You know what I mean? And then they'll come back and say like, oh, Dad, I'm going to do this decently in order. And I'm like,
there it is.
That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? It's hidden. So I think that like, with mine, since they are so little, like, and then also just because they're young, like I always get their involvement, like they'll say, hey, instead of me just automatically telling them what to do, like they might ask me a question and I might ask them the same exact question back. And I'll say, what do you think we should do? What would you do in this situation? So that way they can start thinking for themselves and start saying like, oh, okay, well, this is what the situation is. Let me go to Dad and see what needs to be done. But then if I ask them, what do you think needs to be done? Then it allows them to open up their mind to say like, okay, now I can start thinking for myself, to start being able to come up with solutions on my own, And then I have to double back after they come with that solution and be okay with it and be like, hey, look, you chose that. That was a good one. I'm glad you did that. That was a good decision. And then I praise them for it, because then that reinforces that as well.
Next thing I know, I should slap you in your face. I look, he's looking right at me. And I'm thinking, who are you talking to? Now, should I let that slide? We are all fathers. And so we're going to jump right into this thing, man. You got adult movement going.
Yeah.
And I call it a movement for a reason. But I'm going to let you explain to the people. So 2 questions for you. 1, what is phenomenal fatherhood and why now?
I love this question. So phenomenal fatherhood is a community where, we can empower, equip, and help men be the best that they can be the best fathers that they can be for their children. And it's broken down into 3 components: the mindset, the mission, the movement. So the mindset to be a phenomenal father is all about, like, the spark of any great achievement is desire. You can't even go and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich without first desiring it. If you want to go out here and be a great basketball player, you can go hire a business coach, and if that's your desire. If you want to go lose 30 pounds, you can go hire a personal trainer if that's your desire. But for the guys that do want to be great fathers at a young age, or even want to be a great father in general at an older age like I was, then where are you being supported on that goal? Where do you go? So the mindset, you have to make up in your mind first that, you know what, I want to be involved in my children's life. I know this is important to them. This is important to me. And it's a non-negotiable. That starts with number 1. So just like Kobe has the Mamba mentality, I have phenomenal fatherhood. Number 2 is the mission. As men, we're just mission oriented. We're mission driven. So my mission every single day is to wake up and be a phenomenal father. So it's being able to share that mission with other men too, and to be able to have like an iron sharpens iron atmosphere where we can all make each other better. A lot of times as guys, the only time we really get fatherhood advice is like if I'm at the barbecue, you at the barbecue, I'm telling you about a diaper rash, you like, oh man, I went to Walgreens last week and I got this, woo, 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 you should use that. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go get that. But what if there was another father in London who actually had another great idea? What if there was a father in Africa who said, hey, you know what, you can actually mix these 2 essential oils together. You wouldn't even have to go to Walmart. What if there was another father in China and we could create this iron sharpens iron community? Because I think that our forefathers didn't have the opportunity and the technology that we have today. But imagine all that knowledge and wisdom that I have, that both of you all have. If we can consistently share this information and put it into this online archive that I've created, then the next generation of fathers, imagine how much more prepared they will be.
Ooh.
That's what it's really about. It's about changing the next for generations to come. And I realized along my journey as a single father that nobody's really pouring into these fathers. And that's the head of every household. So as you continue to improve the head of every household, you improve the family. If you improve the family, you improve the community. If you improve the community, you improve the country. If you improve the country, you improve the world. So but it starts with the head of the household.
Man,
so with the and then the last thing is the movement, like each one teach one. So, by us coming together as phenomenal fathers and sharing different things, even something as simple as like my son recently, like maybe like 2 years ago, actually, he was a little bit younger. So I was like cooking in the kitchen, and then, I was trying to let them help me. And then I had some cayenne pepper, but it was in a glass jar. So when he put it down on the marble, it cracked. And then he rubbed his eye. He got cayenne pepper in his eye. Well, luckily, me being from Louisiana, I knew that putting whole milk in his eye would make that go away. But I also didn't have whole milk. I had almond milk because we don't drink milk. So I had to run next door, knock on the door. Luckily, the lady had just a half of a 16-ounce bottle of whole milk. And once I explained the situation, she graciously gave it to me. I ran next door, put it in a little shot glass, held him down, put it in his eye, and he was back jumping off the couches in 5 to 7 minutes after that. But even something as small as that, you know what I mean? And then eventually I wanted to be somewhere where, as fathers, we want to provide, we want to protect, and being able to protect your kids is a big thing. 2 weeks ago, I had a scare where I thought my daughter got a peppermint stuck in her throat. Thank God I live in 2022 and I can just look up stuff on my phone and just pretty much get the solution to any answer that I have. But I mean, I still need a platform to be able to share that success, share those failures, so that way the next generation of fathers and current fathers can all benefit from all these experiences and things that we're learning on a daily basis. So
wow,
that's the main thing, as well as like everything else outside of that, like legal pressure, financial pressure, societal pressure, all these different pressures that we have being able to navigate a dad, and nobody's helping us. And yet they will tell you that it is your number one job.
Yeah.
All people you go to, they'll go tell you that you being a dad and you being a parent is your number one job. Yet where are you being supported on it? Where are you being empowered on it? And where are you being equipped for this journey that you say is my number one job?
Yeah. Yeah. You said a mouthful there. And just part of my brain.
Go in like,
no, that's fine. But part of my brain, why milk in the eye as opposed to water?
The water, it's something about the milk. Like it's something about like something that's in the milk. I forgot what the actual scientific term of it is, but water will just wash it. It'll just like put water in it, and then like the burn of the cayenne comes right back. But something about the milk, kind of like when you eat something really spicy.
Spicy, you drink milk, but you put it. That's amazing. But yeah, everything you said was amazing. But that just kind of stuck with me. Like, what the heck? Milk in the eye. Okay. Yeah, that's phenomenal, and you are 100% right. And not to get too like Kevin Samuels on it. There's a lot of stuff about manhood and fatherhood that we're kind of on the hook for, that we just we're not prepared, or you would just never know until you go through it. What you mentioned that you kind of being a good father was something that was important to you. Where did that start? Like I could say like me and my dad, my father was present, but we never really had a relationship until I got older. So for me, having my boy and having a relationship and being super, super present was the highest of priorities for me. So what, in your experience, triggered you to this is where, what, and who I have to be?
I think, I was blessed to have that model, so it kind of goes back to what Vic said about why you, it's like, why you and why now? It's that, I was blessed to have that model as my dad. He was a phenomenal father. He was present, and as I got older, I realized like how lucky I am to have that, you know what I mean? And how great that is for me to have. So at an early age, I would even say like, I don't know, as early as I can remember is like high school, whenever people be talking about like what they want, like how they want their life to be when they get older and this and this and that, I already had it in my mind that I wanted to be a great father. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know I was going to have to fight for custody. I didn't know I was going to have to go through child support. I didn't know anything about the legal system. So that's a whole nother curveball that a lot of guys aren't really prepared for, like myself. And then to your point, here's the funny thing about it. Even though we're not being prepared anywhere for this, everybody's still looking at us as the leader.
Absolutely. And holding us accountable. Like
everybody's holding us accountable for something that we've not even been prepared for.
Yeah.
Didn't even have clear expectations. You go to a job and they sit down and say, hey, look, man, these are your job requirements.
Yeah.
How we need you to be here.
Yeah.
This is what we expect of you. And this is what we're going to pay you for doing this job. Yeah. But when you become a dad, you get this list of requirements and they just keep on adding to the list. And sometimes we don't even know what the list is.
Yeah, nope.
Now, in all fairness, Tillman, when we did what we did to make ourselves fathers, we weren't worried about the checklist at that time.
Facts.
And we knew that there was no pay that was going to be coming with that. So in all fairness, didn't we bring this on ourselves?
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely respect that, because, man. So I just said, I was like, but hey, everything that I've learned and everything that like, what's interesting though is that like people say like, oh man, you were lucky to have the father that you had, and I'm like, yeah, but imagine if I could take everything that he taught me and then go, and at least go teach somebody else or create it's so many tools, man.
Yeah.
It's so many tools nowadays. So
to your point, we as fathers, and especially Black men, a lot of us didn't have that example. Like similar to Shane's story, my dad wasn't involved in my life early on. He and I developed a relationship after I got out of college. Now, I look like him. I'm named after him, right? I know that I have some of his natural inherent tendencies. But in our relationship now, what I understand is, although the first chapter of his life, he was not the best father, he is a phenomenal father because he's given me some lessons, both good and bad, that have helped me to form what the checklist is so that when my son becomes a father, I can share with him, hey, so here's the list, at least as far as I know. After that, you got to network and you got to go get it from some other people. I can't give you experiences that I don't have, right? So when you think about you and the advice and the experiences that you have, what's the one piece of advice that you would consider to be the best piece of advice you got as a father?
Man, honestly, for me, I would say, I recently, that was like maybe earlier this year or towards the end of last year, I think my church was holding like a parenting or a family first. It was a family first conference. And one of the guys that was on the panel, this is just, it's so many different lessons that I could go down. But the first one that came to mind was this one because it impacted me dramatically. But this guy was on the panel. He had older children at this point, and they asked him a question about what's one thing that he wished that he would have known, like looking back as a dad. And he said, one thing that you need to understand is that just because you want the best for your children doesn't mean they feel loved by you. And that, when I heard that, it just like, bam, you know what I mean? Because in my mind, like, I know that I'm doing what's best for them. Like you said, I have young kids. They don't know anything about the world besides what I tell them and what they experience. So by me giving them structure, giving them things to do, making sure that they do things decently and in order, and making sure that they have these habits at an early age, even if it's something as simple as making their bed. In my mind, I'm doing something out of love. I'm doing an act of service. But that does not mean that they feel loved by me. Especially as a single parent, I was just like, man. So as a man, it just like, I think a lot of us parent that way. Like we parent from the perspective of getting them prepared, which is awesome. But then after that, I pretty much always try to make sure at least one day a week I have just like fun that night. You know what I mean? Where I'm just like, they get to know Tillman as a human being.
Yeah.
Not just dad.
Yeah. A lot of us also parent from the perspective of how we were parented, which 100%. Also doesn't work. Like, I don't know where y'all sit on the end of the spectrum. When we were growing up, mom used to cut the grass. Mom would whoop that tail. And I am now on this end of it. I kind of see where it's detrimental specifically for my kid. Whereas the whole idea of spare a rod, spoil a child, I don't necessarily, and although it is Bible, I believe, I don't necessarily know that it's the way. So I think in part of that caring is understanding your situation and your child and what's a necessity for your child, because these kids are different, bro.
Yeah. I share this all the time with people. I'm a step parent, and that dynamic of disciplining children when you're not the biological is one that people don't think about, right? Am I, as a step parent, allowed to spank the child when the child needs to be corrected, right? And my wife and I have a talk about that. And what I tell you, in disciplining children as a step parent, what I had to learn was that every child needs something different. Although spanking might have been the norm and the tradition, even in my family, with my kids, I had to figure something else out. I had to figure out how they best learn. My son is an observer. He's quiet. He sit back and he watch. And he helped me to understand that as far as correcting him, if you sit down and talk to him like this, that's how he learned and retained it better than if you popped him and told him, now don't do it again. He needed to understand the significance, the why. And I think that a lot of people, a lot of men, a lot of young boys need somebody who's patient enough to sit back and look at how do they best learn. Because that's all we're trying to do is get them to learn through our experiences so that they can go out in the world and be safe and be successful. Yeah.
So as we go through this, we've learned about your movement and what you believe in. In your opinion, what is a phenomenal father?
Yeah. You know what? Like, it's funny you say that, because when I was doing the logo, basically I had a lady that came to me, and I was thinking about the logo. I was going back and forth about a bunch of different designs. I'm gonna circle back to this. And she was telling me about Jacob in the Bible and about how he was wrestling with this angel, and then he wouldn't let the angel go until the angel blessed him. And then the angel hit him in the hip. And then like forever, he had this limp because of this wrestle that he had with the angel. So it led me to being like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, to me, a phenomenal father still, it's like the logo in and of itself, I wanted it to be a badge of honor that says somebody that goes to bat for their children every single day. Just like you were saying about your children, it's like they, it looks different for every child. It looks different for every father. It looks different for every household. But again, that's why I structured the three different pillars in that way. Like the mindset is first, somebody who even that never had their dad, maybe their dad's dad wasn't there. Even the fact that they wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I want to change that for my family. I want to wake up and be a great father, and I want to be present because I didn't have my father, and I want to be that example for my generation. I can't change what was done before me. I can't change what comes after me. That's phenomenal. You know how much willpower and like mental anguish it takes for you to not even have a model in something and then wake up and then do that thing, not even knowing what it looks like.
Yeah.
Us as human beings are naturally like
creatures of habit and what we see.
Exactly. We naturally model. Even Tony Robbins talks about that a ton. Like, you got to find somebody and model them. So for people like, even like in my family, like it wasn't really a big thing for like health, and I was like the one that came along and was like, oh man, you got good carbs, you got bad carbs, you got healthy fats, you got good fats, you got, this portion sizes, and then you don't want to eat past this time. You got apple cider vinegar, you got veggies. I was like that person that was like all about health and wellness. And they were just like, whoa. And then eventually over time, you started to see like, they started to come and open up to it. So everybody in the family has something to bring to the table. But to me, that's what it means, like somebody that wakes up and goes to bat for their children every single day, and they want the best for their children, and that they're striving to be the best that they can be. Even Michael Jordan will tell you that he missed 9,000 game-winning shots, but they only remember him for the ones that he made.
Yeah, right.
But he got up and they still consider him the best. So he got up every single day saying that he was going to be the best. Kobe Bryant got up every single day saying that he wanted to be the best, but it was him daily striving to be the best is what made him the best. That to me is what a phenomenal father is. Every single day you waking up saying, this is a non-negotiable for me. I'm going to do this to the best of my ability. And let's go keep on trucking forward on this mission.
So, us as men don't always like to talk and open up about our feelings and our struggles, but you somehow have successfully and are successfully getting a community of men to talk and support one another. How are you doing it? How are you getting this to happen?
Well, to be quite candid, first of all, there's no women allowed in the community. So that's number one, because certain men will peacock in the presence of women. Certain men will like hermit in the presence of women. So that's one thing. And there's a lot of things that, us as men, just to be quite frank, like even if you married to a woman for like 20 years, sometimes by knowing the nature of that woman, you got to kind of figure it out first before you even bring it to her, because it's going to end up coming back on you anyway. By the time you tell her, then she's just going to be like, oh man, then she's going to freak out. be all worried for no reason, and then be like, oh, what are we gonna do? And then you like, I might as well just figure this out in the car. I'll be at the grocery store, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's just kind of like understanding that. So having that community is kind of something that we've been longing for. We've always wanted that, you know, it's always something that was part of our very nature. It's just that like, I was just a person to have the vision to say like, okay, how can I piece this together? You know, because it's also for myself as well. If my desire is to be a phenomenal father, check this out. They say you're the 5 best people you surround yourself with, but they only talk about that in business and health and wealth and finances, relationships. But for some reason, they never talk about that when it comes to parenting. Why is that? But they still say this is my number one job.
So your big angle is like there's no relationship to the responsibility and what we're taught.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, we basically have to come together ourselves.
Yeah.
Like say, for example, like I met a guy who was like maybe 22. He was like young kid, you know what I mean? And I met him at Car Toys. I went to Car Toys and he was there. He was an entrepreneur. His mom and his dad passed away and he was taking care of his young brother. He was a single father of his only daughter. And then he was asking me a question about something. And then we were just sitting there in the lobby and I was giving him all his game on like child support and like custody and like all this different stuff that he was struggling with. And I was like, man, bruh, like imagine if I could just take that like somebody just videotape that conversation and I could take that and put it onto this membership platform where like the next kid that may be 14 right now, 7 years later can come back and start watching some of this stuff like, whoa, okay. Or maybe even before they become a dad. I have a good friend of mine who's like 27 years old. And he tells me all the time, he's like, man, I watch your videos and stuff, man. Like when I get older, I want to be I want to be a, you know, phenomenal father like you. But at the end of the day, what if like once a week, once a month, twice a month, he had like this online archive of videos that he could go to and say, oh man, let me check this out. And it was like actually entertaining and like real conversations. Yeah. So it's like, that's the thing about it is creating a community where men could really talk about what's really going on. We could talk about child support, custody, you know, all the different horror stories that you hear and like ways to navigate it. And then bringing people in, man, like I want to bring in people like people that certify like CPR, you know, just to have that knowledge in your back pocket. Like, man, something goes wrong. Guess what? Your woman gonna be looking at you like, oh man, what you gonna do? Like, baby's choking. Oh my God, freaking out. You know, how do you even handle that situation? You know, everybody wants to talk about mental health and anxiety, but like, imagine how stressful that situation is for a man who has the desire to protect their family, and you don't have any kind of knowledge on that. Yeah. So it's like, how do we start reducing some of those? And then at the same time, I've also created a platform where Phenomenal Fatherhood is an affiliate program in and of itself. Because like he was saying earlier, I specialize in e-com. E-com is big on having an affiliate program. So some of these guys that never made $1 online can have the ability to go share it with other fathers and actually start relieving some financial pressure simply by sharing Phenomenal Fatherhood while becoming a phenomenal father.
Yeah. Another, I'm just throwing you a nugget. I guess you might have figured it out. You might want to do a lesson or a lecture on managing your daughter's hair. I don't know if you have a daughter, but there's a lot of, you know, just hearing the term single father, that's not common. You know, it's not something you hear often. I don't know many single fathers, which is interesting, but like, I can't imagine having a daughter and having to maintain the hair, you know, so I'm sure somebody thinks about that. How old are your children?
6 and 4. My son is 6 and my daughter's 4.
Oh, so it's coming.
Oh yeah. Well, I like Vic knows, like, bruh, like I said, thank God for technology, bruh. Cause I be on YouTube watching film like I'm getting ready for a basketball game, bruh. Like it's crazy. I be like, what? Like I gotta learn so much about hair. It's ridiculous. You got shampoo, conditioner, leave-in, different ways to part it, rat tail comb, this kind of comb. Like, man.
My man is educated.
Yeah, like I'll go and do her hair, but like to your point, like that's something I'm working on. Even if you go to my Instagram right now, which is at Tillman Gibbons the number 3.
Yeah, I added you. When we came on, I added like my man is popping. Where have I been?
Yeah, like I have like a 16-minute video of like, hey, this is like a simple hairstyle that I do. That's my go-to. If I'm running late, I just do this real quick. It looks nice. It looks elegant. It looks classy, and it's simple and easy. Because the problem is, most of the videos that I watch on YouTube are by women. And no disrespect, but it be like, how to make a ponytail. Be like, oh, you got to go way down to the grocery store, go pick up all the products, and then you got to get the little hair stuff. And I'm like, wait, what? It's like all this interwoven. I'm like, all you had to tell me, you could have told me that in 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a 35-minute video, y'all, on how to do a ponytail. I'm like, man, I got to do this from a guy's perspective. Because we'll be like, look, brush it back, get you some conditioner, brush it back, make sure the conditioner gone, wrap it into the ponytail, hair wrap, bow. Twist that bad boy up, get the little rubber band, put it right here, bow, done. 5-minute video.
Video done.
Video done. And the other guys would be like, oh, okay, bet. That's all I had to do. All right, cool. Now I'm equipped. For this.
But you know what? That's not just for the single dad. That's for dads, exactly. Period. You know, and that's what's so dope. Like Shane, me and Tillman, man, we've been rocking together for a minute. It's probably almost a year now. And I guess quiet is kept. I've been keeping my guy low key because I don't want people to take him away from me, you know. But to hear what he's been doing with his kids and how he prioritizes his family is truly commendable. Like the stuff that you wouldn't even think about having to deal with as a single parent, right? Mm-hmm. To hear him share his story and how he's overcoming that is the part that's been so dope as an observer of his journey, because he's been resilient this whole time, and he's come across some challenges, as we all have, but he's come across some challenges, and yet and still, as a single father, a Black single father, has found a way to still be successful and make a way for his kids. So, man, much respect to him. I definitely salute you and your efforts, because you make it look so effortlessly.
I appreciate it. And you know what? Like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, whenever this all kind of started, it really kind of started out of like pure pettiness, because I went to a gathering and my cousin's wife was like, oh man, that's so nice that, you know, this is a long time ago when I was still married. She's like, your wife does this and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? So I was like, okay, so that's the bar now? Social media is the new standard. Okay, bet. I'm glad you let me know, because it's about to get real. So it was out of pettiness. But then when
you started this as a competition?
No, back then I was like, when I started posting, posted, you know, because I was like, if you go back and look at my social, I was like quiet for like 5 years, like 4 years. I was just like doing my thing, you know. I'd be like, when I had a football baby, I'd be over here feeding the bottle 3 o'clock in the morning, sanitizing bottles. Ooh, I wasn't making no content back then, none. And, you know, and there was so many times I was going to sleep 4 o'clock, waking back up at 8, going to a construction site, bro. Woo. Then working all day, coming back, taking care of my kids, changing diapers, changing blowouts, bro. It's so many different things. So many different stages I could look back, but I wasn't making no content. But what happened was, when I started posting more and more and more, what I didn't expect was all the DMs and the messages I got from other guys that said like, oh man, you're inspiration to me as a dad. And I'm like, wow, okay. So then it became like an inspiration and an empowerment thing. And then
you slid right into your purpose. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just by putting it out there and just sharing, being open with your experience, and being open with your experience, and you just boom. Wow.
Exactly. So like when I got done with the custody and the child support, I was just really praying. I was like, man, I was like, man, you know, I'm being successful at this, I'm being successful at that, but I don't really feel fulfilled. And the next morning I woke up and God gave me the whole vision. Like I already seen like the whole thing. Like when they say begin with the end in mind. So that's why I know as I'm going along this journey, I know when it don't look or feel right. I could just be like, I know what the picture is supposed to look like. So I seen the whole thing, and I just been taking one foot in front of the other. And a lot of people, you know, they wasn't blessed to have a father like mine. So that's a great opportunity for me to pass that on. And I'm gonna tell you the other thing too. When Kobe Bryant passed away, man, that really moved me, because I was like, by me living now in 2022, and I've been able to see what his ideology of the Mamba mentality has done to people globally.
Yeah.
Just because he's like, okay, this is what my Mamba mentality is. These are my 5 pillars, and this is how I operate. People take on that ideology. And my thought was like, what if they could take on this ideology of phenomenal fatherhood? You know what I mean? And also, to your point, Vic, like I just wanted to be that example. I just wanted people to be like, you know what? There's this one guy who's a single dad in Houston, Texas, who's a successful entrepreneur, single father, Black man. Maybe, just maybe, I can have a little bit of hope to get up and go to work. Maybe I can have some hope to get up and still take care of my kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's a narrative that's just not being told. It's not being told. Yeah. If anything, it's stifled. Yeah. So
you're absolutely right.
I wanted to do everything I could, whether it's on my social or somebody I meet at the grocery store. I just wanted to do everything I could for as long as I live to just show other people that it exists. I definitely don't do everything perfect. I mean, I'm still learning along the way. And that's why I said that, like, even Kobe Bryant or Mark Cuban or anybody that's great, they still make mistakes, but it's the fact that they wake up with the intention of being great and phenomenal every single day and take actions to actually achieve that on a daily basis, which is a key part. Because I know some people that have the desire that don't take action to achieve their desire. We all know people like that. So every day.
Story. And it just kind of all ties together. We were talking about circles earlier. We was talking about desires. You mentioned Kobe Bryant. He had a personal trainer who also trained Michael Jordan.
Tim Grover.
Thank you. Tim who?
Tim Grover.
Tim Grover. And he was saying this story, and you just talk about desire. Tim Grover was saying the story that, like, he started training Kobe when his daughters made it to high school. But Kobe wanted him to live in LA. He lived in Chicago, wanted him to live in LA to train him. So what he would do is he would go out to LA, but literally fly back to Chicago for his daughter's volleyball games, get back on the plane, and go back to Los Angeles. Like, literally, that was like a part of his lifestyle. And he was telling this story about, like, one day the daughter came and said, if I did something, would you stop working so hard? So somehow she attached his work ethic to something she was doing. And I think he told her daughter, no, I got to work hard. But it's just about that desire, but also finding that time to be committed to your child, and just that commitment to fatherhood that just gets lost in the sauce. So this is, I don't know why that story just came to me. It just all kind of came full circle, just hearing your story and you talking about Kobe and desire. And, you know, it's kind of ironic that somebody that dedicated to themselves is also training Kobe Bryant, who we know is all about the Mamba mentality. So you talk about the 5 closest people. This guy's trainer is as obsessed as him. Right. What are we doing? Right. What are we doing?
Right. Yeah, he has a really good book called Relentless, but also too, like,
the new one. Yes, I got to catch that one. He's got a new one. The other one coming out called Winners Win, or the Mentality of a Winner, or something.
Yeah, and then also too, like, you know, me personally, I didn't know how great of a father Kobe Bryant was until I watched his memorial service.
Till it was too late.
And I was and that's part of what I want to do with my podcast, is like getting these stories out there. I know that there's other phenomenal fathers out there like yourselves, like myself, that other younger kids can grow up and say, oh man, you know what? I didn't have my dad in my life, but that doesn't mean I can't be a great dad. Mm-hmm. Like, hope at a basic human level is so important to achievement.
Yep.
Like, just the fact that you even think that it might be possible.
That is possible. Yeah. Yep.
So it's like us getting these stories out there, like, yo, there's a young Black guy in Orlando. He never had his dad, but he's still a phenomenal father. You know, such and such left. This is guy Tillman in Houston. He won custody. Like, he had to do all this stuff, but he's still a phenomenal father. Like, man.
Well, Tillman, let's do this, man. We can't thank you enough for sharing just part of your journey. I know obviously a little bit more than others, but I'm going to encourage them to lean into you and learn a little bit more about your story and your journey and why phenomenal fatherhood is absolutely your purpose. But we're at the footwork segment, man. Tell people how they can connect with you, how they can be a part of the phenomenal fatherhood community.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to announce that we're going to be doing the full launch of the membership site on Father's Day this year. I actually have a huge event that's going to be out here in Texas. So if you're anywhere near Longview, Texas, you can come meet me in person. If you're a father, we're going to have a VIP section for you with steak and potatoes. It's like a whole step show event. A lot of people don't know I was on the step team for like 5 years. So I'd be like, getting crazy, just all that stuff all day long. But
what's the website?
Phenomenalfatherhood.com is where you can tap in with the pre-launch list. You're going to want to be on that pre-launch list, or else you're going to miss out on some things that I have planned for people that are specific to that pre-launch list, because those are the people that supported me along my journey from the beginning before I even launched. So that's at phenomenalfatherhood.com. It's literally free. Just put in your email address, go in there and tap in with that. You're going to be doing yourself a disservice if you don't. And we got the merchandise now. I just got the store, baby. Like, I'm lit about the store. I'm over here like, you know what I'm saying? I had to go through so much different merchandise, but that's at phenomenalfatherhoodshop.com. So be willing to check that out. And then the actual membership platform is still being built out, which after launch, it'll be at phenomenalfatherhood.com. So we got a lot of big things going on, man. And it's really, really important for me to say this. I also want Phenomenal Fatherhood to be a place where we can recognize and celebrate those great fathers and phenomenal fathers that are out there. So it's going to be a program where people will be able to earn money, relieve financial pressure from the Phenomenal Fatherhood program themselves, get education, get tools, get support, get community, and as well as the giveaways. You know what I mean? Like one thing I learned about being a father is that what gets celebrated gets repeated. So a lot of times, you know, these guys are out here going every single day. It's so funny. I recently found something the other day. It's like a service out here where you just put your laundry in a bag and these people come to your door and they pick it up.
Yep.
So wash it, dry it, fold it, bring it back and drop it off in these neatly like baskets. I'm gonna tell you right now, if somebody did that for me, I might marry them. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man. Tillman, man, we appreciate you. Shane, footwork, what's going on in your world?
A little bit jammed up, man. I got some things I'm working on. I can't really talk about until it's finalized. Yesterday I presented at the Association for Popular Music Education conference, and it was the craziest thing because like the Jay-Z of student-centered music education was in my session and was like just impressed with the work. So it's just always good to feel it's always good to be appreciated by your peers, especially somebody of that magnitude. And come to find out there was a couple of people in the session that he told to come to the session. Like he was like, yo, this guy. So that's that, man. So just knock that out. We knee deep back again in basketball, summer basketball games. So got 9 games this week. The air is different when you walk in as coach of the year, huh?
This week you got 9 games?
Yeah, 9 games. So it's cyclical, boys. Right back to it. And then also check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere where you stream music. Vic and I have a track, which I've been tagging at the end of the episode, called Purpose. So if you ever need a little motivation just to listen to, add to your playlist, it is there. The name of the track is Purpose, and the artist is Purpose Addicts. So go stream it, forward it to somebody. And yeah, that's all I got. What you got?
Still growing the business as a speaker, man. I got recently, last minute, called up to Cincinnati to do a conference for a tech group on diversity, equity, and inclusion within leadership. So that arm is one that many people don't know that I really strengthened that muscle in talking about why it's important to prioritize diversity in the workplace, and more importantly, what people, what teams, what organizations can do to create a more inclusive workplace. As we know, everybody thinks that it's important to be diverse, but how many people know how to actually implement it?
Attain it, yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited what God is doing for us, man. And we haven't given this update in a while, but the house is about 50% done.
Oh, wow. Yo, I heard something crazy, and this could be another what blew your mind. In a place where everybody's an expert, we really got to realize nobody don't know shit, man. Like, I read something today and my mind went straight to you as you said house. Somebody was online talking about, I'm going to tell you this for the last time. Do not buy a house until 2024 because the cost of housing is about to drop almost 40%. So a house that you would have spent such and such for in 2 years would be such and such. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh crap. Well, I got my joint already. Am I going to lose money on my joint, which I don't plan on selling or nothing, long-term investment? Then I go to the comments and everybody's roasting them. And then it just hit me. Everybody's an expert and none of us really know nothing. Like, we don't know anything. Like, you know what's about to happen to you in the next hour? No. So, yeah, man. So just in a room full of experts, none of us really know nothing, bro.
Yeah. Listen, people, as always, we appreciate you for rocking with us. But if you haven't learned anything else in tuning into this show, is that we don't know nothing.
We don't know nothing, y'all.
But keep coming back here to learn something. That's all we want. As always, we're going to end the show with a quote. I found this one. And it is absolutely in line with what it means to be a phenomenal fatherhood. It talks about the C's in life: choice, chance, change. You must make the choice to take the chance if you want anything in life to change. 3 C's in life. You got to make a decision. And that decision is probably going to be risky. But if you want anything in your life to change, you got to make that choice first. As always, Purpose Addicts, we appreciate you for rocking with us. Tillman Gibbons III, TG3. As always, Phenomenal Fatherhood. Thank you for joining us on the show. If you haven't already, follow Tillman, follow the show. Share this with 3 people who might share it with a police officer. If you don't know what that means, go back and watch Police Fragility. It's a great episode. As always, live life on purpose. We out.